All right. Well, here's a deck for Koth that I've been playing around with a lot, just nicknaming it Make Mono Red Great. And this is an awesome deck because one of the things that has, to me, been a little bit underrated about the Wrenn and Six Vanguard, for as great as it is in Wrenn and Seven, the Planeswalker, that's a mono green, and mono red right now, more or less, is a little bit difficult to get a lot of mana gain from. Some people might disagree with that. I mean, there's a lot of ways to get a lot of gem conversion, or not gem conversion, gem destruction, but just straight up mana conversion with the red, not the easiest thing to do. But with the red, if you build a draw discard deck, you can really make this Vanguard shine. So, if in case you're not already familiar, Wrenn and Six is the rare Vanguard that converts X gems to your Planeswalker's color, and X is the number of non-creature cards in your graveyard. So, easiest way to get cards in your graveyard is by casting spells. And all these spells here are discarding and drawing spells. And this one is discard all cards without mana from your hand, then draw that many cards plus 1. Thrilling Discovery, you gain 4 life, then you may discard 2 cards if you do draw 3 cards. And then Volokut, the Molten Pinnacle, of course, is a good red mana conversion. Mox Ruby for all of our red cards in here. And Avaricious Dragon is probably the only really essential card for this deck to make it just supercharge it, because it's when you draw a card, destroy 3 gems of the opponent's color. So that's a Origins Mythic. And you don't really need these dragons to make this deck good. Dragon is the best one of the other 3 dragons right now, because when a dragon deals combat damage, draw a card and it gains X mana, and that's just a great card all around. And then Tiamat and Velomachus. Velomachus will help you get spells that you want in your hand, and then of course Tiamat to get those dragons out there on the battlefield quickly. But by no means are the dragons necessary, so don't be intimidated by these mythic dragons. You can still make a pretty viable deck with other cards that help you draw or discard or put cards in your graveyard. The Avaricious Dragon is probably the most helpful for this deck in particular. So Koth really needs red gems on the board. Unfortunately, that is what we will have here. And all right, so we get an early Wrenn and Six. That's great. We get Volokut Awakening. Cool. We get a Avaricious Dragon on the board. So I'm not totally sure we have enough to really make this Vanguard start pumping, but let's see what we get. Okay, we only get 3 gems converted. We're just going to use that Thrilling Discovery to put stuff in our graveyard, really. good. Hasn't popped our Vanguard, which is nice. Okay. Well, let's see. Okay. We're filling up the graveyard, so you can see that it's being a useful ability. Okay, he's got a suppression bonds on the board, which is annoying, but oh man, what was that? Oh, okay, Baleful Mastery. Kind of a nasty card there. That's alright. So once this deck really gets going, you can generate so much mana with the Vanguard. And with Koth, of course, his mana gains from red are the most in the game, so that's really going to help you. So with all this card draw, you get so many cards in your hand, and then with Wrenn and Six Vanguard, you pretty much fill it up every turn if you have enough stuff in your graveyard. So yeah, give it a shot, and let's try another match. Cool. We got a pretty good starting hand. We got our Mox Ruby and our Vanguard ready to go. Got a good amount of red gems on the board. Let's just fill up all of our hand. Why not? So it might be a while before we're able to fill up our hand or fill up our graveyard. Well, at least we got one card in the graveyard, but as we keep casting spells, we'll get there. Bam, that's 24 mana right there. So, I feel like we're pretty well in control. Let's get a Thrilling Discovery down. Let's just keep converting mana here. Awesome. And why not? Draw some cards every time my dragons attack. And there we go. So if you've played this game enough, you know, Koth's fatal flaw is just getting stuck with no red matches, and card draw plus this Vanguard just really eliminates that issue with him for the most part. So you can really fill up your hand and get it all filled with mana at the same time. So it's an awesome way to play him, and I'm really glad that this Vanguard exists because it makes Koth way more viable. I know he's sort of a darling with a lot of people, but he really fell out of favor for me because of the inconsistency that you would run into dealing with getting that lack of red matches. But yeah, it does take a few rounds of battle before he's really being used to his full potential in this deck. But once it gets going, you can see it's really fun. So I will do one more match, but I will use one of my other favorite red planeswalkers right now. So this is a Zariel deck, and Zariel is cool because you get a few more slots for supports, more so than other mono red planeswalkers. I think Jaya Ballard gets more red gets more support slots as well. But one of the things about that Koth and Samet suffer from is just not having enough slots to add supports into, which makes it hard normally for them to ramp up with gem conversion. So with the land forming and with the Wrenn and Six Vanguard, it makes all the mono red walkers a lot more viable. So this was actually the planeswalker that I first was tooling around with this idea for this Vanguard in mono red. So I've been having a good amount of fun playing with Zariel lately too. It took me a while for me to understand how to use her, but she can be pretty fun, although her abilities can be very unpredictable, unfortunately. Okay. Well, not the best showcase for the Vanguard, but still a fun match. Let's do one more. I like Zariel's mana gains as well, even though it's not, ridiculous mana gain to red. I like that black and green give you so much mana as well. Makes it a lot easier to make things happen. You're not struggling because you don't have any red matches. Okay, cool. We got our Wrenn and Six to come out. Let's see. Mox Ruby is good. Nothing in our graveyard yet, so we'll have to fill that up. So yeah, at the very least we can convert 2 gems every match or every turn. But that will grow as long as we keep casting our spells. So this is moving along nicely, getting more spells to cast. And we got an archive, which will give us even more cards. Twice the cards, in fact. So yeah, this one you could really see the potential of the deck happening. Avaricious Dragon. Let's get rid of the Devil. Don't need it. Drawing 4 cards instead because of the archive. Then, well, let's end the match. I think this will probably do it. Just for funsies, let's fill up our entire hand. So I don't even bother with the other things that this Vanguard does. Deal 1 damage to any target is very useless unless in very extreme circumstances. And then each spell card in your graveyard without buried gains flashback and buried 10. I don't have anything that's creating graveyard gems, so it's not really going to do much for me. So I rarely use that ability of the card. It's really all about that first ability. So yeah, I personally like using Zariel more for this type of deck, but Koth is also awesome and can really make you win training grounds battles very quickly. So yeah, I'm not sure if there are a lot of objectives right now in standard that require you to cast a lot of cards or cast a lot of spells, but if you want to use it for something like that, this might be one way to go with it that you find interesting. I've tried it a bit here and there with the dual color decks, and I'm not crazy about it with red green, but I've liked it with red blue so far, also it's also good with red black because there's a lot of ways to get cards in your graveyard there. So yeah, I'm still gonna take some time to figure all that stuff out, but mono red, I think I'm pretty happy with what this type of deck does. So hope this deck gives you good ideas, and I'd be curious to see what you guys can come up with as well. All right.